All right, what's going on? Is Bobby Skinner talking Giants with your Week 10 Giants film review. And I know I said this last year after the Raiders game on the film review. I believe this is the last Daniel Jones film review for the New York Giants. So soak it in. Soak it in. It may make you want to just exit the video, but let's go through it. Let's break down the film. How did they lose to the Carolina Panthers? All right, this one's a bit of a doozy, man. This is a doozy of a film review. But let's get through it. Let's learn some fucking ball, right? And we're going to talk about some details. You know, it's not all on the QB. We're going to talk about some of the things that the other guys did wrong defensively, all that good stuff, the run game positively. Let's get into it. Like and subscribe. Who else does this? I don't know. Let's go Big Blue. All right, first play. Giants motion, Jalen Hyatt. No one falls. You got zone coverage. They're going to run play action, Yankee, right? You're going to have the deep post by Jalen Hyatt, and then Neighbors on not an over, but a dig, but basically same concept. Post, crosser. You're in play action. Right, they're in too high, but they like to spin down into cover 3. And that's what they get. So you get in play action, snap your head back, and we're here, right? We see that this defender is going to take Theo Johnson. This defender is taking the post with Jalen Hyatt. And there's all of this space. So this ball should get to Malik Neighbors, right? Well, you have pressure here, right? You have pressure here from 94. Illuminor doesn't do a great job, right? So that's why this ball's not getting out right here. And if you don't have that pressure, DJ throws this ball, probably completes it. But this is part of the issue is let's reset, And then I think this is some of the stuff with DJ when you look at, look at the good quarterbacks in the NFL, right? There's things that go wrong, but they make a play when those things go wrong. There's no reason for, at this point right here, reset, right? It's not the easiest throw in the world, but reset. You have all this space. Get this ball to Malik Neighbors. Instead, we kind of just run, hope we get Theo Johnson to uncover, run towards the sideline, throw the ball away. You'll see it from the other angle. Reset. Make that throw, right? You're looking at it. You know it's there. Reset and make that throw. Instead, we scramble, throw the ball away, incompletion. Right? So that's one play. Next play, you get the 3rd and 8, right? We had that pass interference that put the Giants all the way down here. 3rd and 8. So we're going to run a drive concept with Hodgins on the end, Wandale on the shallow. But you have the alert, which is Malik Neighbors out here. And this is a nasty route on 3rd and 8, right? 3rd and 8. Right? They're in cover 3. 3 deep zone. And Neighbors shows slant, right? Bam. Get this corner to bite. Slant. Transition, right? Win. So you get this corner to bite on the slant. He bites on it. Then you show upfield. So now he's got to bail, right? Because he's not in a bad... If he doesn't bail, you're working past him. So you get that, and then wham, just stop on a dime. Like, that's a beautiful, beautiful route. That's why you get drafted at 6 overall type of route. Beautiful, right? DJ makes the correct read, right? They've covered our drive concept, right? It's covered. It's not there. 3rd and 8, but that means we have one-on-one out here, right? This safety or linebacker plays the shallow. That means we got the outside route. And we just sail it. We just sail it, man. And if you're Daniel Jones and trying to make it in this, and as a starter and keep your starting job, you can't sail these throws. You can't throw these footballs 10 yards over your receiver's head on 3rd down. Like you can't afford to have that type of miss, right? You don't create the explosives to be able to afford that type of miss on 3rd down. They kick a field goal, don't make it. All right, let's get on defense. We just talked about cover 3 and that Yankee concept, right? The Giants ran. Panthers run the same thing. So you're gonna have the post here, and then the dig over by Xavier Legette. And I'm not the world's biggest Jason Pinnock fan. I hope the Giants re-sign him. I don't think he's going to cost a lot, but I think the Giants should bring him back. Even if they want to upgrade the safety room, they should bring him back. Man, I got a newfound appreciation for him because of how bad the backup is. Dane Belton, dude. I thought Dane Belton had the worst game of any New York Giant in this game. There was costly mistakes. There's plays in here I'm not going to put in, missed tackles. There's just bad play after bad play. So you have cover 3, right? So we got 3 deep zone defenders. 1, 2, 3. So we each got to cover a deep third part of the field. But he's the post player. He can, in certain calls against this, you can have him take away this route, right? Have him take away this route. Now, when you do that, Flott's got to get on his horse and cut off the post right here. But if you're Dane Belton, make a decision. Make a decision. At this point, take on this route. Take on this route. Instead, we're like, oh shit, the post behind me. You think you're covering that? You think you're covering that? You're not. So take this on. If they want to make that high difficulty throw in the post, throw it, man. Throw it. But at this point, what are you bailing out on? And then McFadden, man, I thought they targeted McFadden in zone coverage. McFadden's been, he's been a negative in coverage his entire career. Last year, they did a good job of getting him out of those situations. This year, not as much. Good job, right? Rollover back technique. You play the run, turn back, find the route. Like, you find the route. Now you flip your hips and run with it. Instead, we just get to a spot and turn our head. You're not covering grass, cover a man. Flip your hips and run with this. And if you do that, they've got to throw a deep, 50-plus yard pass. I'm not expecting Bryce Young to complete that. And you have this bracketed. Instead, we have 2 guys who just don't execute. Belton is the most guilty party in this, but McFadden should have done a better job on that play. All right, next play. 3rd and 1, right? They get tight. We've got, technically looking like a 4-4 front with all, our corners, Flott and Drew Phillips. We got 4 down, 2 backers. This one safety up high, or 2 safeties up high. And this pisses me off. A lack of focus. A lack of focus. Like, in what world, Deonte Banks? They run crack toss, right? So, Leggett cracks Burns. This player cracks Phillips. And then they pull their right tackle. In what world? And tell me when, Deonte Banks, you are not supposed to fill outside of him. Lever this outside, force him back inside to where all your other defenders. In what world? In what world do we jump inside of this and try and make a hit on a right tackle? Like, do you think you're going to knock him back 5 yards into your run? In what world do you do that? How do you let that happen? If you just play this outside, Bobby Okereke, as long as he makes the tackle, it's stopping them, and they have to make a decision if they want to go for the 4th down or kick a field goal. Like, how do you explain that, man? How do you explain that after the scrutiny you've been under for the last 3 weeks, where your position coach spent 10 minutes talking about your lack of focus, lack of detail? And I'm telling you, man, like, it's, any given Sunday game of inches, we're going to talk about something like there's so many little details that are costing the Giants points and putting points on the board for the other team. There's so many details. Right? We're going to talk about it with some of these young players, with Theo Johnson, Malik Neighbors. We talked about Daniel Jones being bad, and we're going to continue to do it on this film review, but there's so much bullshit that's happening. And is it being coached out of you? Is it being coached out of you? Newbin doesn't make the tackle. And, it actually kind of does. Hubbard trips up after that. Now here we're going to see Belton again. And again, I don't like this. So third downing goal at the 5. We're going to run red zone quarters. Right? You have 1, 2, 3. Those are 4 deep underneath. And then you have your guys underneath. Now, I've noticed this has been a trend. Bowen likes to drop 8 on third and goal. He likes to drop 8. Right? You keep those lines. And it just screws him because it allows the quarterback to do whatever he wants when it's not there easy. Right? Like if you rush 4 on this, is there somebody here to help clean this up? Is that instead you give Bryce Young all the time in the world and make a throw. Now here's the real mess up on this, regardless of this. Dane Belton. This is your area. This is Deonte Banks' area. This is Adoree Jackson's area. This is Tyler Nubin's area. If you get an out breaking route as the number 2, if the number 2 has an out breaking route, you take it. What you don't do is chase a shallow. Because guess what? Guess who's there for that? Him. Supposed to be him. That is who's there to take the shallow. Your area, your job is to pass off the shallow and then cover what's over here, which is Jatavion Sanders wide ass open. Wide ass open. What are we doing? You're a year 3 player looking for your opportunity. You get your first start in year 3, and that's what you do. But you're a ball hawk because Matthew Stafford overthrew 2 passes last year. And again, this drop 8, it allows this quarterback to, he didn't see Sanders on this, right? His first read is gone. He's able to run. Oh my God, look, Jatavion Sanders is wide ass open. Why are we chasing that? Touchdown Panthers. Next play. Let's do some positive. How about that? It's been all freaking negative. Let's do some positive. Really like this run design. I like the Giants are finally adding some, and they've been good running the ball since Tyrone Tracy took over as a starter. 3rd in success rate. Tracy's after. But adding an element to it, right? So we're going to motion Isaiah Hodgins. This just looks like inside. It is inside zone, but it's an inside zone cutback. Right? So we got inside zone 1, 2 for 1 right here. You have Theo Johnson block the backside. And then you have Singletary press the front side A gap. But this motion from Hodgins, instead of, this being split zone, right? Because when you see this, if you said at this point this is going to be inside zone, it's going to be split zone. They'll have Theo Johnson work to this player, and then you'll have Hodgins block the backside in. But you have Hodgins turn up in this hole and then seal off the safety who's going to fill. And that's a nice design cutback play for Devin Singletary. I like that element. They ran some play action off of this later in the game, I think that play is in here. I actually think it's the Daniel Jones interception. But I really like this, man. And also, everyone blocks this up really well. Besides, Runyon doesn't do an awful job, doesn't do a great job. Evan Neal, I just did a whole video on him. Does a great job on this. So everyone had to do their job on that play, but I like that. I like that run design. Back on passing offense. Again, this is going to be negative on Daniel Jones. So Giants are going to motion neighbors. They don't follow. They're in zone coverage. Right, this is a concept they've ran a ton. Post wheel, and then you have the tight end on the backside run a basic. On the in route. So you have zone coverage. We're reading post to wheel, and guess what? They have both these guys bailing. We know this is off the table, really. They've covered this. They have the underneath covered. This is off the table. So if this is off the table at this point, what is our number 3 in this progression? It's Theo Johnson. And for some reason, we just don't pull the trigger on it, right? And Theo Johnson is the number 3 in this, right? Because you have this little fake toss here, right? That is for the sole purpose. That's not to really affect this safety much. It's to pull this linebacker this way, and it works. Doesn't kill him, but it works. Why aren't we throwing this ball? Why aren't we throwing this ball to Theo Johnson here? Right? You've read that they have 3 for 2 here. This should be easy money, pull the trigger. And instead, we don't. I don't know if, we waiting for the deep to open up? I don't know. Throw it. Throw it. Throw it. Instead, we don't. We get off, we scramble, and we throw the ball away. Again, this is not past the level of comprehension for Daniel Jones. I've seen him run this concept well all the time. The Panthers have awful coverage linebackers, right? You're playing the 49ers. Maybe you're a little hesitant because Fred Warner can fucking cover. You're playing Josie Jewell? What is the hesitation, man? What is the hesitation? We're going to talk about the interceptions, and those are the plays everyone looks at because they cost them points. I don't think he's getting benched because I think he's getting benched for shit like this, man. He's just lost. Look at those other plays. We're missing throws and we're lost. That's basic, man. That's not a crazy hard concept. It should be quick and easy. And especially for a quarterback who's more conservative to him, the conservative throw was the one that's there. So why aren't we taking that? I could sit here and nitpick on plays that are down the field that we're not taking. Why aren't we taking the conservative throw that's the right read? That doesn't make any sense. All right, next play. This is actually a positive in the passing game. I really like this element of dagger that Brian Daboll has added. And it's doing a better job with your clear out on this. And there's other versions of this too with the clear out, which we'll see. But this is essentially dagger, which is you're basically trying to clear out space for the dig route here for Jalen Hyatt. Now, usually your conventional dagger would have the slot receiver running a vertical, right? He's running a vertical trying to clear out space for the safety and this match corner. And then you have the underneath here, right? So you're trying to create this space right here. But teams have done a good job of taking this. And so especially in a team that plays cover 3, which is what this is, 1, 2, 3, is what they'll do is they'll have this corner match and man coverage, right? Match and man coverage, and it stays vertical. What would happen is he would pass this off to the safety and then sit right here, and you're not able to throw the dig because you have this corner playing right here. So what they do is turn the clear out into an over route, right? Which clears out the space here. It stops this linebacker from reading it. Now this linebacker does a shitty job regardless of reading it and getting underneath here. And it just clears out a ton of space over the middle of the field. And you get Jalen Hyatt for his first down of the season. And hey, I'm very critical of Jalen Hyatt. I like seeing some nuance in the route running. Is this the best dig route I've ever seen? No. But I like that there's at least some nuance to it, right? You have this corner turned his hips and bails. Let's make sure he doesn't win that leverage. Throw that little foot jab and head fake right there. Bam. Break open. DJ pulls the ball, puts, running back occupies the underneath defender. DJ puts it on him. Nice play. Next play on defense. This is a good play too. Now, 68 does an awful job on this for the Panthers. I don't want to talk about, but this is a great play by Newman. I mean, they walk Newman up, just being instinctive. Fly off the football, dip, get low. Don't let this offensive lineman get a piece of you, and lay a hit on Hubbard. Wham! I mean, that's a hit right there, dude. That's why you like Tyler Newman. Wham! But from the Panthers' point of view, this guy totally screws it up. I don't understand. They're running counter. And I understand Newman's a late addition to the box on this. Why aren't you blocking Dexter Lawrence? You're supposed to block down on Dexter Lawrence. You left Dexter Lawrence unblocked. That's crazy. Again, I'd be losing my mind if this was talking Panthers film review. Why are you not blocking down on this? And also, this is not your man to block, right? So let's say that Dexter Lawrence jumps into this backside A gap and the center takes it. You should be going to block Bobby Okereke, and that allows the guard to kick out Burns. But then you have the tackle stay on this. Like, this is just a mess from the Panthers' point of view. Like, there's a couple other ways that this could go. So let's just say you want to run it like this and you keep this tackle on Burns. Which what I think they're trying to do is just influence Burns to stop him from crashing this down. But ideally, you would have this guard kick this out. You know, this pulling guard kick this out, but he's got to kick out Newman. Doesn't do a good job. But you should have this guard on the backside linebacker. You have the other pulling tackle through. It's just a mess from the Panthers' point of view. But a fucking hit by Tyler Newman, and I love it. Back on offense, nice 11-yard. And this is where I think the Giants' offensive line and Tracy, hell of a job. Wide zone. They've gotten a lot better on these zone blocks of dealing with run blitzes. And Tracy does a great job cutting it up. But the Panthers run a run blitz. And what is that? It's where you have your D linemen all basically, for the most part, slant one way and fill the gap that they're not aligned in. And they have head up, alignment, so it's easier for them in this bare front. And then you have the linebackers fill the gap that they would have been in. So you take this D lineman and you bring them all the way down to this gap. And then this D lineman, bring them all the way down into this gap. And then so on and so on. And then the linebackers fill. Right? So it's just making someone... The idea is like you have JMS's eyes on the linebacker, and that allows this player to get penetration and leak into the backfield and mess up the play. But the Giants' offensive line does a really good job of picking up this run blitz. Bam, we're here. You want to do that shit? Sick. Manhurts, I'll pick this up. Illuminor, I'll pick this up. JMS, I'll pick this up. Van Roten and Neal, right? Not the best job, but Van Roten gets back on it. Again, it's not even that like these are great blocks, right? Van Roten just gets on it. JMS ends up, going to the ground. But when you block the front end on a run blitz, you get these linebackers out of place, and then you allow a guy like Tracy to cut back. Bam, 11-yard run. So like again, when you get these run blitzes, it's all about them getting someone on the front on the first level to basically get in the backfield without being touched. Instead, you get a piece of everybody. You get the linebackers out of place, and Tracy's able to get a nice cutback run for a 11-yard gain. You know what's a bet? Betting that Daniel Jones is going to throw the flea flicker on 3rd and 1, which we'll talk about. But first, a chill is in the air. Leaves are falling to the ground. And football every weekend. That's what fall is all about. You can make each weekend even more exciting by getting into the action with our partners at DraftKings, their #1 place to bet on touchdowns. Maybe you bet a little more. DJ's not at quarterback. All our problems are fixed. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will instantly get $200 in bonus bets when you use code WORLD. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets to bet anytime touchdowns on DraftKings. Giants are going up. How about that? 1-score games. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code WORLD and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code WORLD, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You'll be glad you did. All right, but now let's explain why we don't throw the Hail Mary, and there's really not one. And this is pretty frustrating. Now, it works. In general, I think a 3rd and 1 flea flicker, not my favorite thing in the world. Not saying that we got to run the ball every 3rd and 1. Just, it does give you more chance at this than just running a regular deep concept. But regardless, it worked, right? So results are better than process at the end of the day. We're ready to throw here, right? Whether it's Wandale, whether it's Neighbors, It's there. And for some reason, we hesitate and hold on to it. And if you're going to actually ask me, to explain exactly why, I don't. I mean, I know they've gotten... DJ's throwing interceptions by getting hit on some of these, Theo Johnson throwback plays. And it pops up. But that's just a QB who's just second and third and fourth guessing everything. And it's just hard to play a guy like that. So I'm not going to give you this great explanation besides the fact that you have to make that throw. You have to. There's no excuse for not making that throw. Again, throw it. Said you take a sack and you end up punting the ball at 4th and 8 instead of having a 4th and 1. Good play. Tracy, 19-yard inside zone or wide zone cutback. And JMS and John Runyon do a really good job on this. Nice spin move by Tracy. Whoop! Whoop! All right, but it's wide zone, so we got to get out and go. Right? So it's a wide zone. The linebackers are flowing. They want to get out on top of it. So Neal does a good job. Van Roten stays on it. Helps. Gets off to the linebacker. Beautiful. Your tight ends do a good job. JMS, man. Awesome job here. We cross face. We sustain our block. We do a great job. I mean, look at that. Look at that hole right there. That's beautiful. That goes in the newspaper right there, that hole. And then Runyon from the backside. We're going to check. We're going to help Illuminor get to the linebacker or the safety. And then Tracy do the rest. Whoop! Right? Manhurst isn't able to hold his block the whole time. It's a successful run. We win if we get tackled here. But we don't. We spin out of it. Add yourself an extra 9 yards. There you go, Tyrone Tracy. That's the difference he makes. The difference between 10 yards and 19 yards. All right, here's the first interception of the game. 2nd and 13, play action boot. Now remember that run that we had with the design Hodgins cutback? The cutback off of Hodgins? Does that look similar? All right, so we're running play action off it. I like that, right? I like doing that. Now DJ's going to hit Jadeveon Clowney in the helmet. It's going to pop up and be an interception, right? He's trying to throw this ball to Theo Johnson. Pops up an interception. Now let's talk about the details on this because this is actually going to show up on the Giants, Daniel Jones rushing touchdown. Theo Johnson on this block and release. You've got to pin down. I made a breakdown for this on social media comparing the two plays. You have to pin this down. You have to pin this defensive end down. You cannot let him get back outside of you. You cannot let him get back outside of you. You don't pin him down. You allow him to get back outside of you. And all that block and release does is put somebody in the line of you getting the catch. Or if you keep him inside, right? And he's right here at this point. Well, what DJ does is he either throws this ball for the 4-yard Theo Johnson play and you get 3rd and 8, which isn't great. Or he just runs it out, right? And you keep running out. He cuts it up, gets 5-6 yards or whatever, depending on how these DBs play it. But because of that, DJ, right, if he waits another second, you're not able to complete this pass, and then you're just one-on-one with Clowney, which you probably want to take that over. You do want to take that over this, but still on DJ, he's there. Right, and this is a little Monday morning. But here's what I will say. If you want to critique this, fine. You've seen these previous plays. You're going to see some more plays. I think this interception is the least of the issues in this game. Least of the issues. It's the worst result, but I think it's the least of the decisions and accurate throws. But nonetheless, it ends up being an interception. Takes points off the board. But I wanted to point out that detail by Theo Johnson. And we'll see it later with Chris Manhurst doing it the correct way. All right, next play. Panthers in a Light box, 2 deep safeties. DJ's going to check into a run. And we're going to get that Tyrone Tracy 32-yard touchdown. Cut back. And you see the speed. You see the vision. Touchdown. Let's break it down. Again, weak zone. Running away from the strength. JMS, good job, right? Give that help here. Force him out this gap. Get up to the linebacker. Greg Van Roten. If he stays inside of you, get in his hip and seal him down. Chris Manhertz. I mean, that's a block right there. That's a block right there. And then Evan Neal and Theo Johnson. Seal it off. But at this point, would you say this is going to be a 32-yard touchdown? So, like, Theo Johnson or Evan Neal does a good job of sealing this off. Theo Johnson's going to seal off this player. But at the end of the day, it's Tracy who presses this, makes the play, cut here, quick cut, doesn't allow Klein to make the tackle, and then the speed for these two players to not be able to make the play. Touchdown, Giants. Again, Giants have the number 3 in rushing success rate since he's taken over the starter. He's averaging, 86 rushing yards per game, 5.4 yards per carry. The kid is good. 3rd and 1, 35-yard run without Dexter Lawrence on the field. First drive of the second half. Not pretty. Now they're running. I don't even know exactly what this is. I guess it's counter with the tight end. Or power with the tight end. But just see how we got these 2 D linemen here? And this doesn't get squeezed down at all. But also, McFadden, you got to trust that Bobby Okereke is going to do his job. All right, so let's go through gaps right here, right? Burns outside gap. This gap is taken by the nickel corner. So DJ Davidson is going to play inside here. So Bobby Okereke's got to be inside this gap. Right? This is where Bobby Okereke, this is his control. Mike McFadden needs to be right here. And if you trust Okereke to make the play, and you're not just chasing the back, you make the stop. Now, it does not help the D lineman on this. But again, it's just mental mistakes. Mental mistakes leading to big plays for the other team. Here's second and 11. You just got saved by a penalty. They're in empty. You run man coverage, cover 1. Just basic man coverage. Basic 4-man rush. Who's the guy they're going to go at? They're going to go at David Moore versus Deontay Banks. And we give away inside leverage on this simple split release. I mean, is this some amazing release? It pulls our leverage outside. And we've lost it. Now, McFadden slows it down to help you fight back for that inside leverage. But we're never able to get back this inside leverage. We're not able to make a play on the football. And David Moore just set up 1st and goal. Traded up in the 1st round. Who's David Moore? Players got to play, man. All right, back on offense. It's actually going to be offense here. I don't know exactly what went wrong on the protection on this. This is 3rd and 5, and I even asked around. People didn't know the exact thing. I think this is on JMS. So they're mugged up, right? Looking like a cover 0 blitz, which they've ran. They drop out, right? You drop the end. Drop both linebackers into this fire zone, right? It's covered really well. Now, if DJ's first look is at Neighbors. You probably get this ball to Theo Johnson on a second, but it's just somebody messed up on the protection, and let's look at it. I even tweeted at Andrew Whitworth, and he didn't have a real answer. He just said, "I hate popping O lineman out and protection." So you see how JMS and Tyrone Tracy both run out here? They didn't just do that for fun. They did it for a reason. So my thinking on this is that you have a half slide to the left with the running back being responsible for this gap right here. And what I think happens is that because you want to take advantage of the free rusher. So let's just say they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They rush all of them, right? So let's say they rush every single one of them. So Neal would be blocking out here. Greg Van Roten's blocking out here. Tracy here. JMS here. Bam. John Runyon. Illuminor. And then this is the free rusher. Right? So if there's going to be a free rusher, it's going to come from the left side. So a way to protect yourself against, these, because they don't usually rush all of them, but you have to, prepare as if they do. So the way to protect yourself out of that is that if the player in your gap drops out, you pop out here. So I think this is on JMS because what happens is that they send all three over here. So Illuminor takes on this. Runyon is here, but this player jumps into this gap. And that is JMS's gap. Right? That's JMS's gap. Now, this also could be a man protection in a sense because you see the way, Illuminor turns this into man. John Runyon works back inside with this instead of sliding out here. So this also may have just been man, and Runyon didn't do a good job of sliding over with this. Where Runyon's got it, and got JMS in his way. But that's why some guys don't like popping out the offensive lineman in this protection. But there's some type of mental mistake here. And I think JMS got the credit for the sack on PFF, and they're usually pretty good of figuring that stuff out. But I don't know the exact answer on that. If anyone wants to, understands that protection a little better, let me know. All right, next play. What do we have? I like this. The Giants have ran 3 curls a lot on third down or whatever down. Just kind of pairing that with other concepts. So you run 3 curls, right? Well, let's pair that with shallow cross. Because what it's usually been is they would run 3 curls and they'll block and release out into the flats with their running back and tight end or whoever. Which they do that with Tyrone Tracy. But let's pair it with shallow cross. So you have Theo Johnson on the sit, and then you have Neighbors on the cross. That's just a regular NFL concept. That's what Neighbors or DJ's first read is. But they cover it well in their zone coverage, right? They take the sit. This zone defender takes the shallow. Right, so they take that away, but it just creates more space when you have someone coming across the field. When you just have the flats, they just play it, regularly. So DJ reads that, gets off of it. You have this running back going out into the flat, so that leaves this defender. This corner doesn't pop out. You have Neighbors or Wandale open, hit it. Nice yak play for Wandale, get an extra 10 yards. Good football. I like that. Like adding some, layers to a basic concept. That's the stuff I've been asking for Brian Dable. He did it in this game. Next play. We talked about that dagger. This is a little more traditional. This is the type of stuff you can get excited for with a more aggressive quarterback. And I actually believe this is the play that the Chiefs ran in the first 49ers Super Bowl that won them the game to Tyreek Hill. So and I think they call that wasp. But this is dagger, right? You have the underneath route here. You have the clear out, which is Jalen Hyatt. And then the dig that is Malik Neighbors. But I like that they're building off of this. So I talked about before how they add the over route on that. So now you have your traditional clear out here and the over route of Wan'Dale Robinson, which again, this, safety's bailing. This corner is playing a deep third with off coverage. But this over by Wan'Dale Robinson keeps this linebacker safety over here, keeps this one. It stops him from cutting this off. DJ throws it in through a hole over this linebacker's, past this linebacker's head, completes the ball to Malik Neighbors. Now, here's where, again, they'll never. I don't think they'll ever throw this with Daniel, and we'll probably never get the opportunity because he's not the quarterback anymore. But I wonder if Drew Lock, they'll throw this, which is dagger, right? Right. This deep third corner wants to take the dig route here for Malik Neighbors, and he's obviously reacting to the throw as well too, right? If DJ doesn't throw this, he may stay, covering this deep third of Jalen Hyatt. But you get them to bite on this outside corner, the bite on the dig. You have this safety opening his hips to the field, and then you put Jalen Hyatt on this corner and you throw this ball out here. Again, I'm pretty sure that was the play the Chiefs, ran for Tyreek Hill in that 2019 season Super Bowl that won them the game. Now, you got to have a big arm. You got to have protection on it. But I like that. Here, we've got a 14-yard, again, weak zone, right? Tight end. Here's the strength. Run to the weak side. Here with Devin Singletary. Good job by Evan Neal. Greg Van Roten does not give us any help on this. Now, part of this is the way the defensive lineman plays into it. But to cross our helmet and flip our hips and seal this off. Beautiful. Greg Van Roten getting on our horse. Seal this off. Good job on the backside. On the front side. Right, if you're not able to get across them and flip your hips the way Evan Neal is and allow Singletary to get on the outside, get in their hip and push. Singletary cuts off of that. Hyatt does a good job sealing off the safety. That's fucking beautiful, dude. That's just a beautiful 14-yard run. Right? If everybody does their job perfectly, like the whiteboard says, you get the one-on-one with this player here. Now, Luminor doesn't hold this block the entire time and this defensive end gets in there. But that's about as well blocked as a run gets. That's about as well blocked as it gets, man. You get that every time, man. You're a college team playing against some FCS school. Just beautiful. All right. Daniel Jones touchdown on this boot. This is a different play, but same thing with this block and release with Chris Manhertz. So DJ ends up running this in. Why does he have the angle? Let's watch Chris Manhertz on this. And again, he doesn't even have the alignment pre-snap. Now, the defensive alignment helps with that. But Chris Manhertz does a great job of sealing this down. Keep him inside and then release. Now, Chris Manhertz is stronger than Theo. Chris Manhertz is just a great blocker, so there's other elements of this too. But you got to pin him down, and you want to have hands on him. Because when you release, what you want to do is rip your arms down. Rip your arms down. And he's not has the best angle for that. But you want to push his momentum the opposite way. And so this corner takes it up, man coverage with Manhertz, so you're not throwing the ball to Manhertz unless, the corner gets sucked up. But guess what? Now the fast quarterback has the angle. And the Giants get a touchdown. Little details, right? Like if Theo Johnson did that correctly, the Giants, I don't even think they get a first down. I don't think they convert on 3rd and 8, but they at least don't throw an interception. Like that's points right there. That's points. So good job by Chris Manhertz. DJ runs it in. Next play, Daniel Jones red zone interception. So they run a cover 0 blitz. 3rd and 7. Throws to his hot and Tyrone Tracy. Ball's behind, ball gets intercepted. Bad throw by Daniel Jones. Right? This is a bad throw. It's behind him. Tracy's not able to grab it. Linebacker's able to intercept it. But I want to talk about this because Kurt Warner said, hey, you got to throw this ball to Malik Neighbors. Throw the slant on this. So the Panthers, I will say, did a good job on this because they run cover 0. But what they do is, like, in cover 0 means you're rushing everyone and then you have man coverage on the backside. So man, 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 man. There's no safety help. There's no help anywhere. It's just flat man coverage. But when you do that, you get a free rusher. And if Tyrone Tracy stayed in to block, Josie Jewell would have blitzed. But Jewell's just reading Tracy. So when Tracy runs out here, he turns this into man coverage. But protection-wise, you have a free rusher. So DJ's got to get the ball out hot. Tyrone Tracy is the hot, but you could get this to Malik Neighbors. Right? Now, I don't know if DJ sees the linebacker getting over here. So it's not a winning play to make this throw. But it may be the right decision. Because you have a free rusher. And let's watch Malik Neighbors. You have a free rusher here. Right? Right now he's jumping in the air. If you did not throw the ball yet, he would be in your fucking chest underneath your chin. And why it's like, and this is attention to detail. Carl Banks talked about this on his podcast. This is a bad job by Malik Neighbors. Right? You have to see what they're in, man. And when you see that they blitz and you've got man coverage, you got to break this off now. Now. You have to break this off now. Instead, we slow play this route like we've got all the time in the world. And we don't get the football. So, like, again, if this ball is thrown with better accuracy, it's 4th and 7, Giants kick a field goal. And you're not happy with that at all. And hey, maybe Daniel Jones still throws that if Malik Neighbors breaks the slant over here, right? But maybe he doesn't, right? I would like, to quote Jerome Henderson, when talking about guys' effort of like, oh, could they have made the play? I don't know. But that's the issue. I'd like to know. I'd like to know if Daniel Jones would have thrown this or not, right? But man, if I'm Mike Groh, the wide receiver coach in the film review, I'm saying, man, whenever we do get the quarterback who's going to make this throw, you got to fucking break your eye out off and be open. Instead, again, we slow play this like we've got, like they got a 3-man rush. Hey, and it works. He gets open as shit, right? But it doesn't matter at this point. So again, details. It makes the difference, man. It makes the difference. And again, he may run that the right way and this still ends up being an interception. Right? And obviously this video is not a defense of Daniel Jones. If you've seen the last bunch of plays we went through, the next play that we're going to go through, but that's bad. That's bad ball by Malik Neighbors. By a great player, that's where we got to get better on attention to detail. Makes a difference. Bad throw, obviously, interception, bad play. Daniel Jones' last interception as a Giants quarterback, most likely. And then here, the Panthers gave him like 3 different opportunities to try and tie this game up, which we're not going to go through that last regulation drive. They literally just played soft zone and the Giants threw 6 different curls or hitches. So I'm not going to bore you with that. But here, Giants run, and I'm putting this on here more so for the concept, but you're going to see the bad throw by DJ. Right? We talked about how they run 3 curls. Right? They like to run that play. 3 curls, right? That's what it is. They're deep, but this is what it is. Build off of it, right? So you put Jalen Hyatt in the slot. You put Wan'Dale Robinson isolated down low. You run the 3 curls. Wan'Dale's open. Ball gets skipped. Incompletion. But I like and this wasn't the throw. I like the building off of this though. Instead of having Jalen Hyatt run that curl, let's see if they're trying to bite on that curl. Put them on the over. Maybe you get a wide open receiver underneath. They cover it well. They do the right job. They do a good job on it. But just the unacceptable part of this is just the missed throw. We've got protection. And we just put together a bad throw. And then the Giants game ends on a fumble. Just got to hold on to it. Now, here's what I will say. If you're running a draw, Evan Neal, like, take one pass set before you run straight at a linebacker. Because guess what happens? This is an unsuccessful run regardless. Because you want to keep these linebackers honest for at least a half second, even though I hate running back draws, especially on the first down. But get into your pass set for a second. Because when you see that, this linebacker's like, oh, I got this easy. And I hate draws. And maybe it still doesn't make a difference. But you get a fumble and the Giants lose. So enjoy the bye week, everybody. And I sincerely think the next film review will be a different quarterback. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll be there. So get excited. We so excited. Appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. Let's go Big Blue.